Welcome back to the Rockerness Podcast, Nashville edition. I'm your host, Rose Shawn, and this episode, my co-hosts Terrence LeClaire and Tony Tancredi and I are back at the Waymore Guest House and Casual Club in Nashville, Tennessee, with another incredible artist and my good friend, Suzie Chism. Suzie grew up leading youth group worship music at her father's church in Nevada and has evolved into a sophisticated songwriter whose mix of bite and soul and punk and country influence have made her a truly unique voice and talent in the singer-songwriter space. She was one-third of firebrand all-girl band Mosley circa 2014 before coming to LA and eventually becoming a solo artist we know and love today. She moved back to Nashville after the pandemic derailed the release of her album, and she is absolutely killing it in Music City. We talk about finding new music at her small-town skate park, learning to play guitar from an Elvis impersonator, and the series of events that gave her the courage to produce her own music. Stick around for tons of tea about why there are so few women in the top tier of country music and the shady culture of taking meetings in 2010 Music Row. One of our funnest episodes yet, I think.
But here we are in Nashville.
Yes.
With Suzie.
Chism.
What is happening?
So you say Chism?
Chism,
Chism,
yeah.
I love it. Suzie Chism, we're
Thank
at
you for
Waymore's
asking.
guest house.
This is so cool. I've never
Nashville.
been in this
Oh, you haven't?
building.
This is an amazing hotel. For
Yeah.
anyone looking, this is an amazing hotel. They have like dope fire pits out in the patio. There's a rooftop opening up.
Yeah.
This is the place to stay.
Super
gonna-
vibey.
It's really sick. We met the GM earlier on
She's
the
amazing.
patio, in fact, and it's
Shout out.
like this is just this is a super cool place. It's like what the Ace Hotel in LA wishes it was.
Yeah, actually.
Rest in
It
peace,
kinda
by
has
the way.
that vibe.
Yeah.
Ace Hotel
Oh
in
my God, I've
Orlando.
stayed there. So like for all my staycations, like when my friends would come to visit, when I lived in LA from Nashville, we would always get a room there. It's very sterile.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? Like the
Like,
rooms aren't nice
I expected
there.
more personality.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
for how
same.
expensive it was, and their rooftop is like sort of mid.
Yeah.
The Palm Springs one and New York ones are like
the
more.
Palm Springs
Palm
one
Springs
is dope.
More
that's the only
vibey.
one that matters to me, really.
I'm a Hotel Indigo girl.
Oh, I like Hotel Indigo.
When I first moved to Nashville in 2010, I would host like a songwriter night at both of the Hotel Indigos. We had two of them
Hey.
here at the time. And recently I was in a Hotel Indigo commercial.
What?
Oh, that's right.
And so now I'm like, dude, can I have free rooms?
Seriously.
You
I
should
really,
most
I need an
definitely get free
agent
rooms.
because I'm
You
not really
should.
like an actress, but now I technically
Right, but
am.
now you
Yeah.
are.
So how do I do
That's
that?
wild.
I'm working on
I
it,
did
y'all.
some events for the one in LA, the one
Is
downtown.
it? Is that one cool?
Like
The one here is really cute.
Hotel Indigo.
They
Yeah.
just did a whole like overhaul and made it like a themed
What-
boutique.
yeah.
So it's called the Countrypolitan here.
That's apparently
cute.
their
Cool.
thing is they source locally, like they want to like pay tribute to wherever they're in, so they like
Exactly.
really like take on.
Like there's
all-
a
yeah.
little gift shop that Nikki Lane, she has a vintage shop called High Class Hillbilly, and she has like a miniature one
Oh, cool.
in
Oh
the
my
hotel.
God.
So
Well, you know what's
was pretty
funny?
cool.
So we we've been in Nashville for like 36 hours pretty much, and Terrence saw two singer-songwriters performing before he even
At
left
the
the
airport.
airport. And then we walk into the Hutton because Ella Voss was
I
playing
love that
there
you say
last night.
Hutton. That's how I say it.
The
Hutton.
Hutton.
The Hutton, and people give me a lot of shit for it.
But yeah, like we went to see Ella Voss at their venue last night, and like we just go in while
Is
they're
that the analog?
yeah the analog.
Yeah.
Shout out
It's
Ella
nice
Boss.
in there.
It's pretty.
And they pay the bands.
Yeah.
We go there while they're loading in, and there's like a singer-songwriter in the lobby, and I feel like you like play that girl on TV.
It was weird doing that commercial. I had to.
Yeah.
It like kind of be myself, but also they were like, okay, you're gonna drive this muscle car down Broadway, and like you're looking around, and you're like, wow, look at look at all the neon, and it was just like, oh my god, I actually have lived this moment.
Yeah.
Not in a muscle car. The car
Yeah.
was really cool. That was like the coolest thing I've ever done. Probably
Right.
ever, because they closed Broadway for me to drive down it.
Oh,
Wow.
For like 40 minutes or something. But these drunk people kept coming up to the window the whole time being like, what are you doing in there? What is this? What is this? Is this a music video? And I'm like, we're clearly busy. There's like cameras
Yeah.
strapped at every angle around me. Oh, man.
Well, commercials have insane budgets, which is so like why they can, for like a split second of screen time, close down like the main street in your city for hours.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually never done anything like that. And it's crazy to think about. A year ago, I made like a whole list of like shit I was going to do, in 2023 or whatever. And the first one was that I wanted to try acting.
Yeah.
And
Strike
then
happens.
somebody came to one of my shows, a very nice person. He comes to a lot of my shows. He had just started acting.
Nice.
And so he got an email with a casting call, and he's like, this casting call is describing you perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it. Like, that's a lot of money. Like I saw, enough digits to be like, I can wake up early
There's
and
enough zeros on there. Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. So I went to the like Skype audition, but at first the person I was interacting with, we were on LA time zone. And then the second audition was like New York time zone. And practically everyone on the audition got them wrong and like either didn't show up or they like weren't dressed.
Whoa.
I also was not. I just like threw lipstick on. I was in my nightgown, had no idea they're going to make me actually sing. Like,
Was it a 5-minute face? Did you put on a 5-minute
I didn't even have 5 minutes. My phone started ringing and I was completely nude getting into the shower. And so I just threw like a silk nightgown on and some lipstick. And afterwards, I had lipstick all over my teeth. All over my teeth. But the crazy thing was the director and the producer, they're from New York. They said, we've actually heard of you. My sister wandered into one of your shows recently.
Wow.
She lives in
What?
Nashville. So it didn't really matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I had lipstick, all over my teeth. It looked like I was all gums.
oh God.
I don't know why they booked me.
That's amazing.
Well, you know what? They did.
job,
Hooray.
I'm an actress now. So.
Yes.
That's right.
But before you were an actress and an accomplished singer-songwriter, you were living in Nevada, dreaming of I don't know what. How did you first get a guitar in your hands?
Man, my dad's a guitar player and my mom is a piano player. So it was just kind of always around.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my dad wanting me to play guitar made me not want to do it. And it was somebody else's dad that like showed me how to play guitar. And then my dad was excited, but I think at first he was like, wait, you've been like doing this behind my back.
Was it different kinds of music? Like what did he listen to?
My dad
or
is was at the time an associate pastor at a church.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of Christian music or like early Beatles, like clean rock and roll. He was very like not into country, which is kind of funny because now I'm in Nashville. I mean, good like old country. I think there's actually a lot of crossover between like Buddy Holly and like old country and stuff.
For
you
sure.
know?
Oh, yeah.
So I grew up on like Buddy Holly and stuff. But my best friend growing up, her stepdad was an Elvis impersonator at the casinos in Nevada.
Oh my God.
And he
That sounds
kind of
so
taught
fun.
me a little bit of guitar. He just let me go through. I mean, he had, when I say thousands of songs, he had like filing cabinets, like all in alphabetical order. And I would just sift through the songs he had written. There were like so many.
Oh my God.
And I mean, he knew how they all went, but he would let me like come up with my own version. If it's just a lyric sheet, I would come up with my own melody to it and kind of like do like, I don't know, hybrid, like way after the fact co-writing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I started doing music. But I think, and it's weird now because I have this huge appreciation for the desert in general. Like there's so much plant life in the South and like even like mold and moss and shit out here.
everything
So
lives
now when I
here.
go back to the West Coast, I'm just like, oh my God, I love the desert. But at the time I would look around and I'm like, there's nothing here for me. Like it felt oppressive. And I feel
Right.
bad to
Oh, yeah,
say
I
that
feel that.
because I don't,
Yeah.
I don't feel like my friends that are still back in Nevada, like that they have like pathetic, desolate lives or something. I just knew like if I want to have my music heard, this is not like, what am I going to do? Sing to the sagebrush? Like,
Yeah, for
am I
what
doing?
you wanted to do, that was not the spot.
It was not the spot. I had to get out like as soon as I could, pretty much.
It's like tulips.
Yeah, well, it's funny, right? Yeah, that another gal we interviewed, she was kind of talking about having the same feeling growing up in New Mexico because it's like before you sort of develop the appreciation for the desert that actually does have like a lot of diverse plant and animal life, it looks like nothing, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is just like bleak.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, kind of cursing your family. Like,
there's-
why are we here?
Why do we even
What are you
live
doing?
here?
How did this happen?
Humans aren't meant to live
New
here.
Mexico's very similar.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've been making a new record out in Tucson this year.
Oh, sweet.
So it's kind of gives me that like
Yeah.
back at home vibe, but very different. We don't have like the cacti.
Well, they
in
have those
northern Nevada.
incredible saguaro cactus, which is like, it's such an iconic like desert image. My mom and I just
They're
drove
so
across
good.
the country and we stopped in Tucson because she has a friend that lives there.
Tucson's so rad.
It is
It's
so
so
rad.
fucking cool, dude.
My
many
friend's
people from
band
there.
played a show there probably in like 2008, the Monthlies, Tony.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
them?
What's a...
What a good
And
name.
Monthly.
yeah, they were incredible.
The Monthlies.
The Monthlies with a red period at the end.
Oh shit.
Hey.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. But they played a show in Tempe and a show in
Are
Tucson.
they a girl band?
No, just the guitar player.
That's
Jana,
awesome.
love you. It was funny. They played these two, again, this was probably like 2008, maybe even like 2007, but they played a couple shows in Arizona, and me and my bestie Rickett, who we were in a band together at the time.
Rickett?
Yeah.
All of these cool words and names.
I know.
That's his real name.
Well, and he's actually the second, which is funny. But,
Rickett the second?
Yeah. Rickett Baker.
I like how you
babe.
say it. Rickett the second?
Second?
But we loved Tucson. It was so chill.
It's so
I
good.
can't remember the name of the venue they
It's
played.
so cool.
But Rickett literally like walked in with a beer accidentally, and they were so nice about it. They were like, "Oh, hey, you can't bring that in here." And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Because he's expecting to get like booted out. And they were
Yeah.
like, "No, it's fine. Just, drink it and toss it."
Yeah,
and
can
he
you
was
just
like,
pound it real quick?
yeah, literally. And he was like, "All right, Arizona's all right."
Arizona.
I have been kicked out for that. Of
Oh, really?
Santa's here. I walked in holding a glass of wine, which how the hell did I get all the way to Santa's with a glass
How? Yeah.
of
Yeah,
wine?
like were you just walking
Unspilled.
down the sidewalk with a glass?
I had walked
Right.
there
Respect.
as well.
That's very Vegas. You can walk
I was
with
going to
drinks.
say it's very Vegas or very like New Orleans.
I was in my 20s then.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things.
Shout
that
out
I'm
to
like,
our
how did that
20s.
happen?
Shout out to our
20s.
20s.
Oh, man. I was 20 different
They were
people in my
something.
20s.
I was like 40.
Yeah, I believe that.
I wasn't, but your Elvis impersonator friend.
Yeah.
He was so
Shout
cool.
out.
And honestly, he was world class Elvis impersonator,
Yeah.
like traveled the world.
Wow.
And would like do competitions and would always win. Like he lived in Vegas doing that. I'm from Yerington, Nevada, which is so it's between Vegas and Reno. There's really only like
It's
one
no
way
man's
to get there.
land.
It's no
Yeah.
man's land.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's at the time it was an hour and a half from Reno to like do your shopping and stuff.
wow.
But now they have a new highway because they put a Tesla factory out in the
Yeah.
desert, which then he pulled the plug on after like, I mean, so many people moved to Nevada to like work at this
Right.
factory, and he was like, we're gonna take it overseas or whatever.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Whole thing. But they built a highway because of
Just
that.
for that.
Just for that.
Wow.
And now it takes less than an hour to get from
Well, that's
Yerington to
nice.
Reno. That would have been so fucking cool.
Right, you could have like gone
I
and
know.
hung out at the mall.
And I could have it could have gone to shows is what I would have done. I can't tell you, like I
More
pretty much was
importantly, yeah.
only in trouble ever growing up for sneaking out and going to Reno to go to shows.
What
Yeah.
shows?
Oh man, so many. Like Modest Mouse before anyone
Yeah.
fucking knew
Oh,
who they
yeah.
were. I got in trouble for sneaking out to one of their shows that was at a skate park.
Yeah.
At a skate
I
park.
got in a lot of trouble for sneaking out to see the Bouncing Souls. I mean, even like I would go to everything.
Yeah.
If somebody from Yerington was driving to Reno, like I was going to come
Oh,
up
yeah.
with an excuse and go. So I've seen some questionable things as well. Like I remember 30 Seconds to Mars coming through
yeah.
and getting in trouble for that and being like, that was not worth the trouble that I'm in. I don't really get
Sorry,
it.
Jared.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not sorry, Jared.
sorry
no, he
at all.
actually, it was fabulous. Like the performance was fabulous. I was just like,
Yeah, not worth the trouble.
not my thing. I was really obsessed with this band from San Francisco called Tsunami Bomb. Do you guys remember
Oh,
them?
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like obsessed. And
Yeah.
that probably was one of the biggest like cornerstones of like me figuring out what kind of music I wanted to start writing was that band. Because we had Tsunami Bomb being like super punk. Like I dyed my hair like her. She had this like blue streak in the front.
Yeah.
And I got most of my music at the skate park because I don't know, my
That's
dad.
where they had the shows?
Yeah.
They had a lot of shows at the skate park.
Shows
but like
at the skate park in
in
Reno.
That was the
Yerington,
vibe, yeah.
we didn't have shows at the skate park in Yerington, but the skate park in Yerington, where I'm from, is where I would go and trade CDs with boys,
Nice.
which was basically the only way that my dad, I don't know, I could like sneak non-Christian music into the house with these mix CDs that weren't labeled or whatever.
Oh,
So
mix
rock.
CDs.
yes, you
Mix
know.
CDs.
A
This is
lost
how you
art.
learned about everything, right? It's,
Yeah.
playlists are not the same. Like being able to hand somebody a physical thing. I mean, I cannot tell you how many courtships in my teens and 20s
Yes.
were like begun and sort of solidified through the trading.
That's probably
of
why you're a
mix
songwriter,
CDs.
dude, because like
Yeah.
that's how you know how to communicate the awkward stuff.
But it's also
Yeah.
like it's like telling the other person who you are.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
actually showing them something new that you love. Trading mix CDs with boys at the skate park sounds like the coolest thing that
it
ever
was so
happened
cool.
in the 90s.
Like I
Yeah.
still,
It's all punk rock, right?
It's
Like-
funny that like if I had a boyfriend now that was like a professional skateboarder, that like just probably wouldn't make sense. Like he probably wouldn't understand my creative style or something, but like when I hear a skateboard, I still turn my head every time. I'm like, who?
It was always the skater kids.
Have you seen
they're so
Ali
cute.
Wong's Baby Cobra? She has the most
I
amazing.
feel like I saw it.
Ali Wong, the
I may have been real
comedian, she
stoned.
has,
Ali Wong,
but
yeah.
her bit about skateboarders is so fucking funny.
Oh,
She's like,
think
yeah,
Brittany
remember?
showed me that.
She's like, remember how skaters were so hot? Yeah, you just love skateboarders, but then you get like a little bit older, and you're like 28, sleeping on like a naked mattress in someone else's kitchen. She's
For
like,
real.
She's like,
For
yeah,
real.
skateboarders, all hot and sexy on the outside. All malt liquor on the inside.
I dated a BMX rider when I first moved to Nashville. He was, and
it's
his
the
life
same
was
thing.
very much like
the
that.
same thing.
Like very
So
much.
bringing it back to trading mixed CDs with boys at the skate park.
Punk rock.
So
Yep.
cute. All
I
those
love
boys.
it. And you had the blue hair, and you had like.
I
Do you
had
have
the blue
photos
hair.
of what?
Oh my God, I wish I did. Because I always had.
nothing.
I had really short, like the Amelie.
Yeah.
Oh, what is
like
it called? An A?
A-line
Yeah, there. I knew
cut-
something.
Yeah.
That's
With
cool.
bangs? With or
A
without
something.
bangs? With bangs.
I tried both ways, but mostly without. I'm just not made for bangs. The last time I got bangs, I had a stalker and I was trying to like look different.
We're trying to be in disguise.
Yeah, I got bangs and it was like a no.
Didn't work. Yeah.
No.
That was your witness
Very-
protection.
It was. I went to court and I'm like, who is she?
Yeah.
So were there some songs from these mixed CDs that influenced you particularly?
Oh my gosh, probably. So it's crazy because I was pretty punk when I was a youngster, but I also obviously had the appreciation for like the Elvis and
I know. What
et
era
cetera.
Elvis was he competing in? You know.
Oh, he did all of them.
Just
But
all of
and you know what? I have videos of him doing some of his moves because
Oh,
I used
send.
them. I found on YouTube videos of him that somebody. Okay, basically, long story short, and sorry, this is like total tangent.
Love
but
it.
I found this video of him that was 8mm footage, so no sound, and it was like kind of a newly like uploaded video or whatever. So because every few years I like Google him and see if there's anything else out because his name was Steve Long. Shout out Dado is what we called him.
Dado.
Dado. He is no longer with us, which is really really sad. But I found this video of him and. When I reached out to the person, like messaged the YouTube user who had posted it, he said, this guy who uploaded it, his mother had passed away and he was going through her stuff and found all these rolls of 8mm footage. Only knew who it was because she got video of her whole road trip with her girlfriends to go to Vegas specifically to see him perform. So they like zoom in on his name and he's playing at the Holiday Inn Express or something. It's crazy.
That's so
And then
cool.
there's this whole performance. So I got the rights to it and I have like used it for like lyric videos and stuff for my last record.
Well, yeah,
he's
'cause you
in
have a
one of my
song about him,
songs.
yeah.
Mhm. And it was crazy. Like when that was done, I sent it to his family thinking that they would be like really touched by it
Yeah, like,
or
thank
something.
you.
And they were like, we don't really get it. Like we don't really get the song.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It was awkward, but I was like, well, it served its purpose for me.
You're like, well,
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
you're not
It's
sending
not
me
about
a
you.
cease and desist, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
But yeah, Dado.
Dado. Shout
But-
out Dado.
Dado.
There was also a lot of rap music that came from like the Bay Area that would make its way onto mixed CDs where
Was
I'm
that
from.
the hyphy scene kind of like?
Kind of,
days,
which
or-
was a little bit after my time. When I was in college, that kind of started being like more of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Bay Area rap is its own thing.
Yeah, it is. What's
and like
his
you
name?
know,
Andre
being
something?
in,
What?
Not under
Pardon?
3,000
No.
from ATL.
did you
No.
have you heard his flute record?
No, and I don't care to. frankly.
Really? I've heard it's amazing.
The internet is exploding over Andre 3000's
That's
new
fucking dope,
flute
man.
record.
It's the
I'm
longest
here
song
for
to
it.
ever chart on the Billboard or something.
He can
I
do
am
no
telling you
wrong.
though, flute is like the new thing because when I was in Arizona making this new record, when I tell you, because I journaled the entire time, like once an hour, I'd be like, now we're doing this in the studio. I just didn't want to forget the process. I really feel like there's some magic in whatever I'm working on for this one. Everything I have on the internet, I recorded at home pretty much. So
Yeah,
this is like
and
my
this is
first
you in a
studio
real
record.
studio, yeah.
It's like, I spent way too much money on this project so far.
No, you didn't.
So
Yeah, no.
That is
worth it.
all
it's great. I'm really
money well spent.
excited
Yeah.
about it. But I was journaling, and when I tell you that it added up to like a quarter of the time that we should have been fucking recording, the boys that I had out in the desert with me were all just talking about wanting to make a flute record. And at one point, I was like, book your own studio time for your flute record. Like, what is happening? And they're like, it's going to be the next big thing. You just wait and see.
Good
And
Andre
music.
3000 beat them to it. Oh my God.
I kind of wanted to be
you.
like suckers.
That's so funny. Well, also they don't get to make the flute record on your time.
No, exactly. Well, there was one guy that was not trying to make a flute record. There's a band called Shannon and the Clams. Do you
Oh, they're
guys
so
know
good.
So the drummer from that band, Nate, he played drums on my new record that I've been working on all year. And he was like, can we just get to work? Everybody else.
Yeah, talk
Mine's on
about
the
your flute
flutes.
record during the lunch break.
Fuckers.
Okay.
Rude.
From skate park
To flutes.
to you're sharing all this music with people and you've learned to
Boys
play guitar from
specifically.
Dado.
Yeah.
How did that evolve into and you were also leading worship, yeah?
Oh,
At your
yeah.
dad's church.
Oh, same time.
And you know
Wow.
what? It was kind of like scandalous at the time because like the youth group, you guys remember youth group culture
Oh, yes.
in the 90s.
We do.
Oh, I grew up
Yeah.
in the church.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
Terrence does, but Tony and I definitely do.
I've
Yeah.
heard of it.
You've
Terrence-
heard.
Terrence was
Did you grow up in France?
No, he was
No,
lucky.
so I was like, so it was Russian Orthodox in France. And then
That's
when
a
we
thing.
went to New York, we were like in Westchester. And so we joined a Presbyterian church because I think that's like community kind of like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my
That's
family
the whole
went to the
like, we
Presbyterian
love
church as well.
God, let's have a picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our vibe. Yeah, we were Presbyterian technically.
Baptist.
So
For
that's
me,
my
yeah.
experience of it.
It was a huge, huge thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it made a lot of people a lot of money, the
Yeah.
youth group culture. So my dad was the music minister and like associate pastor, so like the vice president pastor
Yeah.
of the big church, as we called it, of the adults.
Yeah.
My uncle was the pastor, the head pastor. My grandpa was the pastor until he passed away.
Until he passed.
Until he
Pastor
passed.
until he
or
passed. Oh
to,
dear.
to the pasture. So
I
my
love this
grandparents
wordplay.
built that church.
Oh wow.
They like with their hands built this
Wow.
church, and it went to my family until very recently. It's no longer like, I mean, none of us grandkids want
No,
the
you're all like,
responsibility.
no, we're done with it.
We're
We
good.
had enough-
We
we had
have
enough
enough
of that.
trauma. So,
Wow.
I mean, my grandparents were nice people. I don't mean to like throw shade, and
That's wild.
my parents, I think, did the best that they could with the information that they were given. But my dad was the music minister, and he basically appointed me to lead worship for the high school youth group when I was several years not in high school yet.
wow.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a lot of like the community thinking that they were showing favoritism just because I'm a
of
Chism,
course.
that I get to.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was just the only one who could pull it off, who
And
could
you were
learn
good,
songs
yeah.
every single week.
Yeah.
And, so not only did I have the like pastor's kid, like, there's the whole, girls go crazy when they're pastor's kids in college or whatever. A little bit of truth to that. A little bit of truth to that. But I also had this kind of like psychological fuckery of like, I'm a Chism. I'm like royalty in the church. I can do no wrong. I don't know. My moral compass, I wouldn't say that it was like skewed. I was afraid of doing anything wrong. No, it was a weird thing that I've been sorting through for my entire life. And like also the guilt of like, if you make any music that isn't glorifying God or telling an archaic story that everyone can read in this old book, or if you're
Right.
not singing a song that specifically, if it's going to be about you, just has to talk about what a piece of shit you are who doesn't deserve love, which is most Christian songs. So it was so just ingrained in me that I'm a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a piece of
No,
shit.
that's so true.
That's very punk rock.
That's so funny. I think like
So punk rock.
to be
Christian.
Well, no, like actually though, like in real talk though,
Probably would be
like
now.
we've talked to a lot of artists on our podcast about like because a number of our guests have been in church bands or
Yeah.
even in Christian rock groups
Oh,
at
yeah.
one point, but nobody's ever really said that specific thing. They've talked about like it's shady behind the scenes or there's no money in it or they ended up kind of losing their faith or something like that, but nobody's ever really talked about like the actual messaging behind that music,
It
which
tells you that you can't do anything you want.
yeah, you can't do
It's
anything
like,
on your own.
Yes,
certainly.
I fucking can.
Yeah, no, that's
And
so
I've been fighting that
true.
shit my whole life. And my parents are divorced. So, and at that point, my dad was kind of stepping into his role of taking over the whole church. Because my uncle moved to Reno and has kind of like more of like a mega church vibe. It's not that big, but it's a lot bigger than the church I grew up in.
Semi mega church.
Yeah. Mini McMansion. Is that what they call
mini
them?
mega
Mini
McMansion
the
church?
Mick mega church.
McMansion.
So my parents got divorced, and that was a scandal because you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so watching the shame that my mom experienced leaving the church, and also being pressured of like, if you're not doing Christian music, like you're
out of God's
bad.
grace.
Yeah. And like to this day, and my dad means it in the nicest way. He'll be like, if you were doing Christian music, you'd be making money. And I'm like, first of all, that is true.
Also, no, you wouldn't.
I know that there's a lot of truth to what he says, and that what he means is like, if you were doing Christian music, God's hand would be on you and it would be blessed, and therefore you would be making music or making money. And it's like, no, I'd be making money because people exploit your emotions and there's a high dollar sign on that. And I can do that without having to stand behind the name of some, like Jesus Christ was a fucking Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Fucking funny to watch them all, like laugh at the people trying to do the same shit these days. Cause I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know if Bernie Sanders can fish or like
He can
do woodwork.
man.
Bernie Sanders can do everything.
I believe he could.
He can walk on
believe he could.
water when it freezes.
But how did you start writing?
I think
Skater boys.
Skater Boy, actually, yeah, a little bit. Probably my first couple songs were like me trying to get boys to like me, and they still are half the time, whatever.
Oh, same, yeah.
You
I
get it.
that.
You
yeah.
totally get it. But I think too, I was just processing like why I'm like a manic depressive, I guess, and probably have been my whole life. When my parents divorced, at first, I just kind of stopped talking, which is crazy because now like a lot of
you're
people.
a talker. We're both talkers.
We're talkers. People wish I would shut the fuck
For
up.
y'all that don't know, I'm just referencing Susie's song titles to her. So
Yeah.
these are Easter eggs.
Talkers is one of my
Go
favorites.
Through her catalog.
And Talkers kind of took, I think when you're manic, there's a lot of different ways that can go. You can totally shut yourself off, or you go fucking full swing. And I spent so many years of my life, especially in my 20s, avoiding myself and avoiding the realities of all this shit that I lived through. And there's a big part of me that feels like, okay, I am a not completely broke. I mean, I am broke, but I come and I don't come from a family of money, but I also don't want to say that in any way we're hurting. I feel like I didn't really have a point of view, that I hadn't suffered enough to have an interesting point of view. So I kind of started writing out of this place of like, where can I be important? Like, what experiences have I been through that would actually help other people? Because I haven't had all the struggle. I don't know. There's a lot of gratitude and also like shame and like all kinds of things that went into me starting to write
enough
music.
to be like a tortured artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I have.
Yeah.
But when I first started writing, it was like, okay, I can write all these songs. And I don't know. I think with the pop punk movement, if you even want to reference that shit, because I'm not an emo girl. When they have those emo night parties, I cannot identify with any of it. Like at all. But there was kind of a shift in what was popular in the early 2000s, and what was really being appreciated right then was the like kind of witty, tongue-in-cheek, inner rhyming, super wordy. I just wanted to figure out how to do it. So then I kind of became obsessed with syllable counting and like, what if I made the vowels on every third word be the same sound
Love
or whatever.
that.
It just became more about
Sort of learning
words
structure.
and structure and just boredom, wanting to write the best thing that I could write.
Yeah.
So you were kind of starting out more about trying to like master the craft.
Master the craft was the whole point.
That's so interesting because most of the people we talk to are like, yeah, I just kind of started out because I wanted to express feelings. And you're like, no, I just wanted to like figure out.
Crack the code.
Yeah,
It
crack
was
the
a bit
code.
of both. And I think knowing that I could see people respond to music as a worship leader. I could see the physical and emotional responses that like it's real. The manipulation that music does to you, I wanted to understand that a little bit, a little bit more and be able to tap into it. And honestly, I felt like that gave me a lot of power. So how do I have the most power I can have? What do I do? Like, how do I get good at this? And I can remember telling my mom, being in the back of her, she had a yellow Mustang, on one of her weekend visits that I got. I remember going to Reno and telling her, like, listen to these words of this song. How does he do that? How does he do that? Like, how does he rhyme every other rhyme, but then the last word in every verse has the same vowel sound? Or like, I just started breaking it down, and she was like, I think you need to figure that out. I can't tell you how he did that. This might be something you should try to do.
Because I'm a lyric nerd too.
Yeah.
Word nerd.
Word nerds.
Word
So do you want
nerd.
to play us one of these early
Word
songs?
nerd.
Oh my God, I can try.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember.
You're holding that guitar
them.
right there.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
do your
jonesing
best.
for a
I
song.
like to think that my 26-year-old guitar that I bought when I was 15 is going to help you channel those vibes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know.
I actually couldn't find proof of anything much older than like 13 years. The song's like 13 years old.
Wow.
That's old enough.
Does that qualify?
That's
'Cause
amazing.
I was probably already like 10 years into writing or something. I'm going to try to sing you a song that I wrote in probably 2010, I would guess. So when I first got to town, it's called Gasoline.
Gasoline.
And it's pretty punk rock, okay? So let's give credit where credit is due.
I got my board. I'm ready.
Okay, how does it go? I'm just gonna like fake my way through this. And then maybe I'll play you something I actually know. We'll see. Have you ever seen a castle in one piece? Not me. Something always brings it to its knees. Dear Mr. Cupid, not to sound stupid, I really don't mean to complain. Maybe next time could you aim for both of us? Don't you wanna show me off? Show me off. Boy, you know that I don't ask a lot. It's so hard. Don't know who I'm believing, just say you'll never leave, and we'll take a dip in gasoline. And baby, when they're burning you, they're burning me. Oh, I'm feeling weak, I'm feeling sick. How does the heart get so anemic? Just tell me how you got a skin so thick, and how do I get under it? We were a piece of cake, how did everything break down? I give, and oh, how you can shake now. I just want to turn this thing around. Don't you want to show me off? Show me off. Boy, you know that I don't ask a lot. Don't know who I'm believing, just say you'll never leave, and we'll take a dip in gasoline. And baby, when they're burning you, they're burning me. Something like I don't want to go to sleep without you. I didn't want to feel this deep about you, no. I don't want to know if it's not real the way I feel. Don't you wanna show me off? Show me off. Boy, you know that I don't ask a lot. I don't ask a lot. Don't know who I'm believing, just say you'll never leave. And you can take my hand, we'll take a dip in gasoline. And when they're burning you, they're burning me. When they're burning you, they're burning me. Oh, baby, when they're burning you, they're burning me. So silly.
Okay.
Like, what am I talking about?
But I want to ask you
What
what
is
you're
it?
talking about, but first off, I have a couple of thoughts I want to say before I forget
It's
them.
so high.
First of all, it's got Pixies vibes.
Yeah.
The beginning
It
definitely
does.
had like a little bit of like a Latin flavor, but also this is so your voice too. Like it's
so
absolutely
funny.
a Suzie Chism song. Like unquestionably, it is totally like your quote unquote voice.
There's a part of me that's like proud of little me because I'm like, she was really going for something.
Yeah.
Like, don't know what it was.
No, like honestly,
She was going for it.
the lyrical content,
God, it's high.
the wordplay and the rhyme scheme and everything feels very much like the stuff you still do.
Well, and it was right before Mosley.
Yeah.
Like I wrote it and then it took a few years to record it.
Yeah.
And the recording process on that song is like a whole, like an entire podcast in itself, which is so funny. But I started my rock band right after that. And so I think there was a part of me that was just like, I want to be able to play with the boys and go on tour with the boys and I can have a rock band and, you know, and now I don't give a fuck about any of that.
Yeah. But what was the song about?
It was about a dude. You guys want to know the real truth? Because people in
Yes.
Nashville know that. Like, there are people who know the
we
truth.
want to know.
I
We
wanna
want to
know.
know.
I want the
Dude
truth.
is a predator.
Oh,
no.
I met him when I was very young.
I bet I know who it
of
is.
course.
I wonder if you do. He is a radio person in town, which I got him that job. They offered it to me, and I was like, give it to my boyfriend so he'll be in town more. Like, fuck, now he's just a dude of influence around here. But this is about me, like, meeting this person who years later I would find out is a total creep. Like,
Wow.
like meets young girls and leads them to think, like, we're going to live together forever. But he has, like, 500 girlfriends. So it's crazy.
My gosh.
My entire band, Mosley, every song was about this person.
Yeah.
And he's been taken to court by many powerful women in this city ever since I was the first to do it. And there are a lot of us that have been like, make sure this man can never contact me again. Mostly successful creatives that he goes for.
Wow.
But long story short, it was early on in that. And it's me just like confused, being like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. We're in this and things just don't line up. And like me having to defend him.
Well, you
all
not
the time
understanding that you were in a relationship with
with
like a toxic,
an actual,
like an actual
diagnosed sociopath.
right? Like a
Like
total
cannot tell the truth.
malignant narcissist.
Is a bad, dangerous person. But at the time, I just had started hearing these rumors that like shit wasn't lining up, and I was so young, and so
You're like, but he's not like that with me.
Yeah, and
except
so
that
when
he
I'm
is.
talking about the gasoline in general, it was like if they're burning you, they're burning me. Like it's me being like, dude,
I
when
get
people
it.
say
Yeah.
this shit or when this stuff happens, like you represent me too, and I go down in flames if you go down in flames.
Wow.
Like what is really happening? Because like we're holding hands dipped in gasoline, and like we're both getting hurt by this if we can't
What an
figure this
image.
out.
Wow.
So I think that was, and it's funny now because I spent so much of my
Right.
songwriting time back then caring so much. Like a lot of my music is about dudes or women, whatever.
Yeah.
Depends on the day. But they're usually relationship based, like
Right.
autobiographical stories or whatever, usually just kind of like a diary entry of my day. But the story for me now is so much like not giving a fuck what a man thinks. Like it's just not about that anymore. And that comes with time and age. I'm in my mid 30s now. Don't tell anybody.
But yeah, no, that really, I think that's the kind of again, like most people's like early songs that they play for us on this show are objectively good, and as is this one, we're kind of looking for the thing that, the context that shows the youth, and the context here is that like you were still like in this naive place of like, I got to stand up for my man because, like, because we're the same person. And if somebody says something bad
He's
about
my
him,
dude.
well, like the fact that you would like recommend him for a job.
That's why I moved to LA. It was that dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
yeah?
He was in a band that was getting very popular. I could not leave the house and not hear either in my Ubers or on the radio or in the restaurants. Between bands at the venues, there was this song about me that was like played
The song about
everywhere.
you. Was
Yeah,
it a
it's-
negative song or a positive one?
Yes, but you have to remember this guy is a sociopath. So his band, he's a drummer. His bandmates at the time wrote a song about our relationship because they were like a bored married couple. They're like, this is more interesting
like,
than
we
anything
need-
going
yeah,
on in our
right.
lives.
We don't have
But also
relationship
they were
drama.
hearing pathological lies about me.
Right.
When I tell you this person cannot tell the truth, when I started to figure it out with him, he was on the phone with said bandmate and they asked him what we had for lunch. And he was like, oh, we had cheeseburgers when we had tacos. Like, would lie about nothing.
Like things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
did not matter.
Yeah, like, why lie about it at
made
all?
it easier for him to lie about the shit that did matter or something. So there was this song that was fucking everywhere. It got them signed this
I'm
song.
so curious, but you don't have
It's
to
so
say.
fucked up. Well, he's fired from the band now because when I took him to court, they were like, we fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Like we knew
Yeah.
something was off here. And the record label was like, that guy is a flight risk if there's any truth to any of
Yeah.
this, which by the way, every time this man has gone to court, he has walked out because he's a pathological liar. You see him in real time
Right.
get up on the
Wow.
stand and just be like, not true. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, I guess.
Well, but he's the kind of
Well,
his
I
word
guess
versus
it's not
hers.
true.
he's the kind of person who can pass a polygraph because
I'm telling
he
you.
doesn't feel any
he
stress
could
over lying.
literally get away with murder, and all the people in my life know if I ever go missing exactly who's responsible for it. Like it's
people who are sociopaths can pass polygraphs because the whole point of a polygraph is it measures your stress response to
sad.
lying, and
if you're not stressed to lie,
exactly, and
Yeah.
if
It's
lying
like
doesn't
George
stress
from
you out,
Seinfeld.
it's
saying
crazy. I got so many good songs about it. Like I wish so badly that I could play
is
you.
this who Socio is about?
Socio.
I knew it.
But I
Oh,
waited
you
to
wanna play
release.
another one?
I waited to release Socio until I moved to LA because I was that afraid. But I would play you the Mosley shit, but like I legally can't
Oh.
perform that.
Okay.
But
Really?
it's so
Really?
nice to not be writing songs
Why
about.
can't you perform that?
The girls in Mosley have a legal clause where I cannot perform anything that was ever put out. Well, and we have a whole record that never came out, so there's like a little gray area. But yeah, and I have so many songs since then. Like it's fine.
Music
but
business is so
can you-
wild.
it's so
I
crazy.
know.
It is so wild.
Getting
So-
sued by your own band is like super fun.
Well, that's
That
fun.
when you
sounds
wrote
really
all the
fun.
fucking music for it.
So actually,
Yeah.
so can we talk about
great.
that? Because you said you wrote
Jeez.
this, or you wrote this right before you
Right
joined
before
Mosley. So
Mosley.
talk to us about the Mosley chapter a little bit.
The Mosley chapter was fucking tight. Like it was so fun, y'all. Like it was so fun. And actually, last night, have you guys been to Duke's yet?
No.
I know, I heard about it.
I have a song called "No Dancing" that is about. I have a song for every place that I love, but it's just right here. Like we could walk there later if you want. But I was there last night, and somebody came up and was like, "You had that girl band." Like it's still there's like this kind of legendary.
Yeah.
It was like the very beginning of Instagram. So if you like go to the Mosley Instagram, it's not like we have 1 million followers or something. That wasn't a fucking thing.
But it
then.
existed.
But we had like a core group of like the most fanatic fans around here that you could ever imagine. Like we could just do the tiniest tour that was just like Indianapolis, Chicago, Detroit. Like we could just kind of have this little loop and play these packed shows every time, you know, like people loved it. But basically what happened is I moved to Nashville. I wanted to be a fucking songwriter. To me, the songwriting comes first. I do it every day of my life. I'm never not writing. Like, it's insane. And so that for me was like the thing. It took me this long in my career to realize I'm an artist. I think it was a lot less responsibility to like be in a band or something. But
Oh, yeah,
I
for
tried to
sure.
get the publishing deal. If I'm being 1,000% real with you, and it is a whole conversation about to come up in this city, because a lot of people my age are fucking done not talking about it. Music Row in 2010, you take a meeting with a publisher. It becomes a late night meeting. There's always alcohol. There's always a bed in the publishing offices on Music Row for some reason. There are so many creeps in this fucking city. I changed my entire dream of wanting to be a songwriter to starting an all-girl rock band because there are so many fucking creeps who are like, come sit on my lap and we can talk about that.
Wow.
I'm done with it. And you know what? We put up with it for a long time.
Yeah.
We put up with it for a really long time. There's a reason, there is a fucking reason that the top music in country is almost all men. And that's because the girls got fucking sick of sitting on people's fucking laps to be
Yeah.
told that they were going to gatekeep it anyways.
Yep.
So
Wow.
it's a whole culture. There was a huge shift that happened around 2012. I was a part of that. I started
Maren
this
Morris
rock
has
band.
been talking about it lately. Yeah.
Good. And she's at least lucky because I think a lot of her career, she had her now husband with her. But there's probably a reason he was in the room.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sick of this
God.
shit. I'm sick of it. I cannot tell you how many people have tried. Most at that time in my life. And I was so fucking young. And it's so fucking insane. It's so fucking insane to me. And I don't mean to speak ill of the dead. The man that I recorded Gasoline with, same situation. And I started Mosley right then because I thought it's not like too wildly different what I did with Mosley to what I was doing in
Yeah.
something like Gasoline. I mean, we had kind of more of like a heavy halftime breakdown thing we would do in some of the songs or whatever. But I couldn't do it alone anymore because I felt unsafe in this city. And now that I'm older and I feel like I can hold my own in a room and call somebody a fucking asshole, I have a taser.
Yeah.
I'll fucking take a video of it.
Yeah.
You're fucking done in this city if you fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm sick
Well,
of
and
people's
now
shit.
the public will
Respect.
actually care.
Yeah.
Like now people will actually care. It's not just going to be like some young girl being like, "Oh, he doesn't take me seriously." It's like, no.
It's fucking nuts. It's
And the post Me
not
Too,
so
like,
bad.
it's not perfect, but it's better.
Yeah, it's better. It's a
Yeah.
little bit better. It's getting there. And also just representation in general is different now. When I was in an all-female rock band, which wasn't that fucking long ago.
No.
How many times people were like, which guy in which band are you fucking? Why are you backstage?
Wow.
Go fuck yourselves. I am here to do
I'm
my
the
job.
headliner,
Like,
motherfucker.
fuck
I'm
you.
the somebody.
But I watched it while I was in that band.
Yeah.
I watched that shift happening in a new generation. I believe if I had a daughter who wanted to do music, she wouldn't grow up facing the same like this is a boys club vibe that I did. But it was there my whole growing up. And when people want to know about the sexism in music, I just kind of reference like what it was like in the 90s being in school, how the boys basketball team got new jerseys every year. And the girls are still using the same jerseys that my mom wore.
Right.
You know?
They still
Shit
have
like
like
that.
the 70s polyester. Yeah.
We're just not the priority.
Totally.
We're not taken as serious. Nothing we do. We are a fucking gimmick.
So you wanted to be a songwriter, and Mosley was kind of like a thing in a moment, but like what moved you beyond that?
Mosley was magical. Those girls have no business being that talented. It made me have to step my shit up. I mean, especially like you're in a 3-piece band, you have to be rhythm and lead. And I was so intimidated by playing guitar in front of men in this city.
Yeah.
I had to get the fuck over it.
Yeah.
And so they were my heroes, and we were each other's heroes, and they helped me get past trauma, and I helped them be taken serious, you know? Because like as much as, oh my God, it's insane, here's 3 girls fucking headbanging all night or whatever, like as funny as that is, every song was serious. And I feel like we accomplished the goal of people coming in expecting us to suck and hearing the songs and being like, I lived through something like that. That's insane. Like I came in with a prejudice and I'm leaving here thinking. And so I think that was kind of, I don't know, like we were doing heavy rock and they were pop songs.
Yeah.
We were sneaking them in there. You know, everyone's favorite song at a Mosley show was the slow one. Like, I don't know. And I wish I played that one, but I couldn't without them. I mean, I legally can't. But I'm really, really grateful. And when that project was very successful very quickly. I think we had probably played something like 25 shows when we were offered the deal that we were offered. We made a record worth $160,000 that never came out because we broke up waiting. Like it was like shelved, and then we just somebody wanted to have kids, and that's what happened. You know, my bass player wanted to have kids. Then the label's kind of just like, we need girls. You have to replace her with a girl with legs, with boobs, who's blonde. Like it just became like karaoke to my own music, and I was like, I'm fucking out. Wow. So that's really like, it was just, I couldn't do it without the soul. It wasn't the same once somebody left. We got shelved.
I know how that. Yeah.
So and then so you had. So what was the next step?
I had like
that's
a
obviously
rebound
devastating.
band.
Rebound
It was so
band.
bad.
Yeah, rebound band.
It was so bad. I had a rebound band called Sup.
Sup? With an apostrophe?
With a period at the end. We tried, not the same as, but similar to the monthlies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But we weren't famous enough to be allowed the period on Spotify or whatever. So
Right.
I don't even know. But Sup, which stood for Suzie Under Pressure, because I was like, figure it out.
Turns into a diamond.
It was so fun.
Hey.
Sup was awesome. I moved to LA with Sup. It was my best friend. I had this like platonic best friend for like 500 years that I met through Mosley because he was like a sound engineer when we made our record that never came out. I'll never forget being so fucking lost when my band broke up because I lost everything. That was like
You had put everything
major
into it.
publishing
Yeah.
deal for me. That was like I had just signed it, and then it was like within kind of like how you can get an annulment.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, never mind, I guess.
Right, they're like the terms
So,
have changed.
Yeah. So like I lost my publishing. I was just so sad. And
Oh,
I'll never
no.
forget sitting on his porch swing, chain smoking. And he said, I was there. You had one of the biggest producers, like the guy who produced our record, his name is Jay Joyce. He does like all of the Carrie Underwood, Eric Church, Little Big Town. He used to play guitar with Iggy Pop. Like he wants to do rock. He just like has his whole calendar year already set aside for these salary projects.
Yeah.
So basically the label, well, Warner and Sony are very, at last I heard, they're kind of conglomerate situation out here.
Yeah.
So he kind of makes all of his money from those big projects and was allowed passion projects, and we were that. So anyways, my old bandmate from Sup, he said to me one night, I was there when you made that record. There was he said, aside from the gear that made you sound really expensive, there were no decisions made that really changed what you sound like. I think you're a producer. And I think he said, 10, 15, 20 years from now, do you want to be some girl trying to be in a rock band, or do you want to have a career? And at first it pissed me off because I'm like, I want to be a
You're
girl
like,
in a
don't
rock
you-
band.
yeah.
But now I'm like, holy shit. I started, seeing the statistics about how there are no fucking female producers. Like, what is going on? We're not welcome in the room because it's less fun when we're there because the boys can't be boys, and like, it's just fucking awkward. So then I started kind of thinking about that. And then I accidentally dated that guy from Sup. So we broke up practically on the way to LA, moving the band there. And that was a fucking nightmare. And so I went
you
solo.
said you were like 24 hours into LA when you guys broke up.
And you know what's crazy? I'm making this record with him out in Tucson. Whoa. And yeah, we're trying.
So you figured it out.
Let's figure out our friendship. Because I think
figured it
my
out.
biggest grief in that relationship was like, we should have just been
music.
friends. We
Yeah.
should have just been
Yeah.
friends, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that we currently are friends. I'm not entirely sure sometimes.
Cap Hamilton's song, Never Should Have Dated. Should have never dated.
Should have never dated.
Yeah.
Paul, sorry about it.
So then you actually moved into being just Suzie Chism.
It was very
You arrived.
unexpected.
Yeah.
Sup kind of fell apart because we were a 2-piece project where we would hire different drummers. But it was supposed to be like we were partners. And he was really coming up as an engineer. He was working on a record for Sturgill Simpson right then. It was when Sturgill did his rock record. Sturgill produced that record. My
Quotes.
ex-boyfriend really did like most of the heavy
Air
lifting.
quotes.
Yeah.
For
air
listeners.
quotes, sorry. Sturgill probably has lots of ideas. But I mean, I know his band, they're really incredible people, and they had a lot of say in that as well. But Paul, he pushed all the buttons for what I would guess to be not enough money. I think he was kind of a unknown name. So
So he probably did it for a discount.
he did it for, I mean, he got paid, but for experience as well. I know he like has traveled the world with Sturgill since, but at the time that took priority over our little punk band.
Right.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, I was like, I can't put the band on pause for 8 months for you to go to Tokyo or like,
Right.
What are you doing?
Right,
So
yeah.
I started I had shows booked for Sup, started playing them as me. And that's when I met you. Was
Yeah,
right then. 'Cause
Rose.
I remember I met Rose through our friend Amy.
Amy, Love It
And
Summer.
Amy actually came over to hang out one time, and Paul and I were broken up, but living together still.
Oh, God.
Because
That's
the band
fun.
had broken up, and
I've done
I
that.
couldn't find anywhere to live, and I was working 7 days a week. Like, it was so bad.
Well, you
It was
just
so
moved
bad.
to LA. Yeah,
Yeah,
2018.
it was weird. Mm-hmm. But that's when I met y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
So you
Because-
saw the going solo from day one, pretty much.
Yeah, damn. Oh, wow. I didn't realize
That's
I was
cool.
there on the
Yeah.
ground floor.
Yeah.
You moved back to Nashville in 2020.
2020.
And you kind of have just like kept going. And you just recorded your first studio album. So like what's like presently happening?
It's crazy. It's a crazy time. Well, if you think about it, I put my first record out the day that LA shut down.
Yeah.
The day that they were like, go back in.
Your record where?
Friday the 13th.
Yep.
March
Oh my
13th
gosh.
of 2020. I took the day off work and the police said, go back inside. So I think I already was in this habit of closet studio recording or whatever.
You were like, great, more of the same.
Yeah, it was like, okay, now I have free time. I can make a second one. So I made a pandemic record. I mean, it was instantaneous.
Pobrecita.
I started making my second record like a day after my first one came out
Oh my
because
gosh.
COVID happened right then.
Wow.
So I knew this record cannot sound like I recorded it myself. I deserve to have enough mental freedom that I'm not the one over there like running the ship. I did not want to engineer it. I'm not a great engineer. I did fine. I'm not like talking shit on my first work.
But you should be able to focus on your performance.
I
Yeah,
needed to be
yeah.
able to. And so I had picked a different producer for this record and realized they were on tour with a bigger band and realized like my timeline would never line up with their
Yeah.
tour schedule.
Yeah.
It would take 2 years.
And Paul and I became friends pretty like out of nowhere again.
Quote unquote friends. Maybe you're friends.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Still
we're
unsure.
friends.
Yeah.
So Paul, he was going through some stuff. His dad actually recently passed away, and at the time his dad was going through some stuff. And so we reconnected as kind of like, well, we're getting older. How much time do we even like have left?
Yeah.
Like, to like, why are we fighting? Because we're not friends, we're fighting. Like, okay, good reason. So he was like, you should come out here and make a record. And I was like, there's no way in hell I am ever trusting you artistically again. Love you, but like,
no.
you just like left me in LA with a record half finished. Like, what are you talking about? So I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I went through a breakup, like at the holidays last year.
Same.
And instantly, yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
Instantly
talked
told
about
Paul about that record. I'm going to book a flight. and kind of reached out to all my dream players. He had some ideas. I had some ideas. Convinced this band to meet me in Tucson. Went like a ways out of Tucson to the middle of nowhere. Holed up for like a week. I think we had the first trip, because I've been there a few times. The first trip was like 5 or 6 days of sessions. And we thought we'd finish it and we didn't. But basically, in that amount of time of me booking the flights and going to Arizona, the engineer, my friend, his dad passed away. It's so sad. And like, that is a kind of a loss, and it was out of nowhere. And that's the kind of loss that
That's terrible.
It changes your identity.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think about Paul being a couple years younger than me. He's in his very early 30s. To have a loss of that degree and be kind of like the oldest man in the family and have to step up. I mean, they buried his father while I was there.
Oh my God.
Making my record. Like, I cannot even, like, we just couldn't function at a normal rate. We just could not do things in a normal way.
No. Oh my God.
It
It's
changed
insane that
the
you were
entire
even
record.
recording. Yeah.
I never ever imagined that I would be finishing the record in Nashville, but it is what it is. We kind of just said, well, fuck it. I'll come back. And I came back the next week. I came back like a week later. I came back here, flipped burgers for a couple days, got back on a plane. I was like, whenever, like, they've made the schedule out for like 10 more days at my job, I'll come back on the 11th day then. So flew right back out. Most of the band, like Nate from Shannon, from Shannon's band, he came back again. He actually surprised us, and we thought we were having like a desert like apparition happen, because he just like appeared out of nowhere. We're out there like having a smoke break, and he just fucking appeared. Because I knew that they were on tour, so I was like, what the fuck? I guess he took a bus to like come back.
bus?
He
That's
took a bus. He's
amazing.
like, I've got
And
all
then
these
appeared.
ideas. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here doing vocals, and now Nate's back wanting to play guitars, and he's a drummer. Like, it was like a whole thing. So
I like Nate.
yeah, that's
So
why.
you finished the record though.
Well, I have to do all the vocals from here now
Okay.
because Nate appeared. No, I'm grateful because we
still
tried
in
a whole bunch of
process.
random stuff. But
Yeah.
I have the 2 singles done. The rest of it is at like 70% done. I
Ooh.
basically just need some overdubs and all my vocals
2
finished.
singles? Do you want to play us one of them right now? Is there? Can you?
Yeah.
Would you be down?
Let's hear it.
Hell yeah. Can I have a sip of your wine?
Of course.
This is Terrence's, but yes.
Okay. How does it go? It's called Till the Wheels Fall Off. Give me strength, give me grace, give me self-control. Suddenly I have the chance, don't mean that I should have to be alone when I didn't do nothing wrong. You're a star, set the bar on a higher plane, but you dropped the ball on me somewhere along the way, and now I'm gone, baby, gone. Check the engine when the light comes on. You say we just don't get along, but I'll fight for the thing I love till the wheels fall off. Disengage the emergency brake, let's roll. This week I've got 2 houses and not a single home. Yeah, I'm gone, baby, gone. Check the engine when the light comes on. You say we just don't get along, but I'll fight for the thing I love till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I'm gone, baby, gone. You carry on when I didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah, I'm gone, baby, gone. Check the engine when the light comes on. You say we just don't get along, but I fight for the the thing I love till I'm gone, baby, gone. Check the engine when the light comes on. You say we just don't get along, but I fight for the thing I love till the wheels fall off. Till the wheels fall off, oh yeah, till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I'm gone, baby, gone. You carry on, and I didn't do nothing wrong. Give me strength, give me grace, give me self-control. Give me strength, give me grace, give me self-control. I'm gone, baby, gone, baby, gone. I'm gone, baby, gone, baby, gone. I'm gone, baby, give me strength.
Suzie, thank you.
Thank you, Suzie.
New shit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I've heard that one on the internet. I can't wait to hear the recording.
Oh,
So
man.
good.
So is there like a target time for that to come out?
Well, no one has heard what I have been working on until today. Like 30 minutes. Like I was halfway done with my braids when I finally was like, I can hit send on showing this to a couple people. So normally the industry
okay.
shuts down at Christmas here.
Yeah.
Like there's like an understood rule of do not send this to anybody. I do the opposite every year.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of reach
More
out
visibility.
to like, yeah, and just people that consider you like a casual friend, but
Oh,
they
for
like
sure.
your music.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, hey, I want your feedback. Like, I want your feedback today. Tell me what you think. Brainstorm with me. Do you know somebody who might know what to do with this? It hit that stage today.
That's so exciting.
I like to have like a good 8-12 weeks heads up to be like circulating a little bit of music behind the scenes before it comes out. So it'll probably be late winter, early spring. But I would like to release maybe 2 songs then. So, because it's a long record.
Well, I can't
Nice.
wait. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hell yeah, anytime, y'all.
Thanks,
Suzie, so
Suzie.
good
I
to have
love you
Thank you.
guys. You're all so cute
Check out
and
Suzie
nice.
everywhere.
Hell yeah, brother.
Suzie is a good time always, and I was randomly humming Till the Wheels Fall Off to myself all day yesterday. And lucky for us, that song is finally out in the wild. It came out June 28th, so you can stream it all day, every day. And I might do that the second I stop recording. You can follow Suzie on social media. That's Suzie. As always, we'll have links in the show notes. And do be sure to check out the video she made with the archival footage of Dado's Elvis act. It is awesome. You can also follow us on social media if you're not already. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We post some fun stuff, you know, if you're into fun stuff. And we do hope you will follow, subscribe, whatever, to the pod on your favorite streaming service and rate and review if that's an option. We just want Algorithm Daddy to be proud of us. We are so proud of you. Really, you're doing great, kid. And we love doing this with you every week. So see you next Tuesday.